Hi, it's Pam Roach, and this is video 6. I am excited about sharing this information with you today. Over the last few days, we've been talking about connection and engagement and how important it is to building trust with your customers. Then we discussed how media is a powerful tool for staying in communication with your customers, once again, keeping and maintaining that trust. And we talked about how journalists wish you knew specific information before you even ask them to cover your story. One of those things is a press release. The information that you send is critical. And so today I want to talk about the anatomy of press releases that get read. The first step is identifying your communication objectives. Before you write your press release and just sit down and start writing willy-nilly, you need to know what you want to accomplish. Are you trying to build awareness about your brand or topic? Are you trying to change behavior of your target customers? Or are you just trying to get the phone to ringing? You want more leads for your business. Framing the message around achieving your communication objective is very important. So you want to make sure that you research your topic very well. And we talked about research before. Make sure that it's newsworthy. Make sure that it's timely. Make sure that it's not only relevant to you, but relevant to the readers of the reporters you're trying to touch. Also, be sure to highlight how you're unique. We talked about that, and highlighting your special expertise and why they need to speak to you about your topic. Then that information is compiled into what you're going to place in your release. Now, here's a specific format that you should follow. This is a best practices method, and this is what you should do each time. First, you're starting at the top with writing your press release. If you notice, right here at the very top, you say, for immediate release. That is an indicator to reporters and editors to let them know this needs to go out as soon as possible. Once it's read and edited, then they know it can go out immediately. Insert date and time, insert the date of the release, which is right here. We also want to have a good headline. So keep it under 60 characters, and then keep your subheadline under 30 characters. Insert the city of origin for your story, and make sure that it's in all caps. Now, the rest of the story, one thing I want you to know is that reporters are only going to read this first part. If you folded this page in half, they're only going to read the top half of the page. They might skim through the rest just to get the contact information, but they decide if they're going to cover your story from here to here. So everything in this part of the story needs to be important. This is your lead. This is the body of the press release called the press release text. The lead has to show exactly what you want the reporters to do. Your call to action goes in the lead and in the body of the release right here. Next, you want to make sure that there is some link to information, additional information that reporters can reach. Now, Google has changed its algorithms, and they do punish people for having too many links. They won't send your information out, especially if you're using a press release distribution service, which we'll talk about another day. But this you can link to some information, and so this particular link is to a flyer for the reporter to download that has the actual date and time and specific information about the book signing. This release also is about an author that I represented who was the first African American mayor for the city of Arlington, and he had not been mayor for quite some time, but he wanted to write his memoirs. And so the information included in here has to do with his book signing. At the bottom, you want to include a link to your website. Now, this particular author did not want to include his website, not want to create a website, and so we didn't have a website here. And then boilerplate information, that would normally go down here as well, to let the reporters know some background information about your company. Not more than 2 to 3 sentences, though. The next step is closing out the release. Your release in total is not going to be more than 300 words. You don't want to do more than that unless you're a Fortune 500, Fortune 100, or government agency. They're the only ones who need to put additional information. Everybody else, we have to keep it short. Make sure the contact information is at the bottom of the release so reporters can find it easily. And then at the end of your release, you want to write the words END so they know there's no additional pages. Bonus information that reporters love, and I've gotten great results for my clients with this, especially in the case of a book. They don't have time to read your entire book, but if you are an author and you have a message that needs to get out, in this case, his message was very much historical. A lot of what his life had involved included a lot of historical firsts. He had lived through the Depression as an African American. They didn't have to stand in soup lines. They grew all of their own food and literally created a city for their entire family. And there's a city named after their entire family. They also, he lived through segregation and he lived through the civil rights era. These are milestones in history that all of us can relate to. And so to hear one person's direct story about how they lived through it was critical. I didn't want reporters to miss it. So I did a summary page of information, just one page, that highlight key lessons from the book. Supplemental information they can pull out, different angles they can use to write their story. And I want you to know it really paid off because so much was written about this book, so much about his memoirs. And it's a 60-page book, but we got about 2 years worth of stories out of it, and only some of it is here. In our next video, I'm going to tell you how to distribute your press release. I have enjoyed sharing this information with you over the past few days, and I hope that it's very helpful for you in your next endeavor. Thank you.